Our topic today is the vanishing virtue called humility. We will discuss 6 ways of how to develop humility. Blowing one's own trumpet is an in thing today. In fact, it is a sad reflection on the people who nurture this habit. Instead of depending on others' reactions, they aggressively go on patting their own back. This behavior stems from the lack of self-belief and humility, which are in short supply these days. There are people who try to project themselves as someone who stands out of the crowd, as someone who has an exceptional personality pattern. The term humility comes from the Latin word humilis, which means grounded. But instead of being down to earth, many people have a tendency to glorify themselves in any which way possible. They noisily brag about themselves to prove how exceptional they are. While talking highly of himself or herself, these people are not simply bothered about how people accept them. In fact, if you do something commendable, people will appreciate you. You needn't take the trouble of doing it yourself. If you do, it turns out to be an irritant for others. It is important to remember that your quality shines on the strength of your acts. You cannot brush up your image only through aggressively worded statements about yourself. Humility, on the contrary, exudes a quiet confidence. Your deeds will speak for themselves, not you. The irony lies in the fact that people look upon humility as a sign of weakness. They love to see it in others, not in themselves. People usually shun the company of those who try to test the patience of others by continually singing self-praise. They are too engrossed in their talks to listen to or to notice the reaction of the intended listeners. This habit is counterproductive. In fact, people enjoy the company of those who feel ill at ease to talk or hear about their own good deeds. Humble people are seen as a good company. These people are cool and composed with a good listening skill. If things go wrong, they don't blame others or try to defend themselves. On the other hand, if things go fine, they promptly go ahead to congratulate others. They keep a low profile and don't claim the credit for it. It is against their nature to have an inflated ego that has to be carefully guarded all the time. Unlike the egocentric and narcissistic people, they do not suffer from an identity crisis. With their admirable disposition, they can make their presence felt even with their quiet nature. They know how to take things in their stride. Humility is frequently mistaken for timidity or weakness of character. But it is not true. Humility doesn't mean that you have a poor self-image or you consider yourself an inferior being. Humility means being aware of your natural dependence on and equity with the people around you. As a social being, we all need one another's support. People who brag about themselves always go telling the world how important they are, how they help others in their need. But the humble people are not so. They know the value of living together, the importance of we feeling. Now we will talk about 6 ways how we can develop humility. Number one, humble people have a natural acceptance in society because they never go out crying, look at me, look at me. We should do well to remember that essential commodities do not need a billboard for advertisements. Their disposition speaks for them a lot. Humility, in fact, adds charm to one's personality. Number two, humble people do not have the tendency to dominate others. Humility comes from the awareness of one's own strengths, shortcomings, faults, and limitations. A proper assessment of one's own self helps a person to strike a balance in his or her mindset. You may try to hide your deficiencies from the public, but you cannot hide it from yourself. So, it's better to face your deficiencies, face your limitations without any hesitation. Number three, we need to change our mindset of considering ourselves above the average. It is for others to judge us, whether we are below or above the average. Others too have their qualities of various kinds. We need to acknowledge and recognize their qualities too with a free mind. Learning and adapting are two important things that we should always remain open to. This practice does not belittle us in any way. Number four, it is very necessary to develop we feeling. As we help others in their needs, others too have their contributions in our life which cannot be overlooked in any way. So, better be down to earth and friendly always and with everyone. Number five, we should develop a good listening skill. We have to be good listeners. It promotes mutual understanding and effective relationships. We cannot afford to be a speaker only without listening to others. If we want to be speakers and not listeners, others too have the right to pay a deaf ear to what we say, and this gives rise to conflict only. Lastly, humility can be developed through the practice of mindfulness. This practice enables us to accept ourselves just as we are. It develops the skill of listening to and learning from others. We can also learn gratitude by practicing mindfulness. We can properly appreciate how others helped us. A person who is grateful for the contribution of others is naturally humble. In conclusion, I would like to say, we never know when we will need others' support as we go along the path of life. So, why should we claim that we are different and superior? It is in fact foolish to think that others are only there to look at us with awe and wonder for no justifiable reasons. So, friends, let's call it a day. We'll come back with more worthwhile topics like this. Till then, bye.